Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about Poshfest. Poshfest just took place on Thursday and Friday last week in San Jose, California. Poshfest is a yearly convention that happens where poshers, sellers go to this convention, and there's all sorts of breakout rooms and things like that where you can learn a lot. There's panels and things like that, and it's a way to go and mingle with people that do the same job as you, and it's a way to learn some new things that are coming out and how you can just bounce ideas off of each other. I'm not sure how many tickets were sold. I want to say maybe 200 or 300. I don't know. If anybody does know, let us know in the comments. What we, as people that didn't go to Poshfest, because I did not go, and I'll talk about that later at the end of the video. We got access to the State of the Union address, which the CEO does a little talk with us, and we got access to the Hackathon, and that is where they talk about what the new features are that they are working on, that they are going to be bringing out. Nothing huge. So the State of the Union was about 20 minutes. It kept glitching on us. It was really weird. It was Manesh. It was his last time doing it because he is stepping down as CEO. There really wasn't much there to report. He didn't really say anything earth-shattering, but he really doesn't. It's a matter of just introducing and sort of talking about where the vision is going, where it was and where it's going, things like that. A couple of things I found a little odd. One, he talked about, Manish talked about the new CEO, and forgive me, I don't remember his name at the moment, but he was mispronouncing the guy's name. He said, it's this, no wait, you know what, just say it any way you want. To me, that was like, if it was supposed to be a joke, it kind of fell flat, and it's a little disrespectful, because you should know this guy's name, and you should be pronouncing it properly. But you know what, that is just a little tiny thing that I happen to notice. He talked about fashion being circular. We all know this. What was in style goes out of style, comes back into style. You know, we all know this. And if you want to sell the trends, you're very much on top of all of that. So yes, you know what? Fashion is circular. He talked about, he asked if anybody had any feedback, and nobody said a word. So I don't know what happened there. The audience didn't seem to be very enthusiastic with this. Now, it could be that the sound, we just weren't getting the sound from the audience. That could have been part of it. So I don't know. I haven't really talked to the two people that I do know that went, what the audience was like. But for us watching it on video, it sounded like the audience was just going, nothing, you know. He talked about how Poshmark is always thinking of us and how they can serve us. I find that to fall a little bit flat too, because a lot of the times it seems like they don't hear us. That's my take on it. I did find that the side chat was a little more interesting. People were talking about other things that he wasn't talking about. Like they didn't touch upon the relisting and listing or deleting that new policy. They didn't even talk about it at all, didn't touch upon it. He did talk about last year when he brought out the new fee structure and how it tanked. It was terrible. He said it was a big mistake on his part. I like that he owned that. I think that was good. He talked about, you know, embracing your weirdness but still staying trendy, which to me sounds like an oxymoron. And the big news, of course, was the $6.49 shipping for Posh US. That's actually a really big thing. It was a big announcement on this past week. He kept talking to, well, not kept, but he did touch upon, in order to grow, you must learn to let go. And that's a very good piece of advice, because you know what, we start this business, and I know that I've started 6.5 years ago, and what I used to do isn't necessarily what I do now. So, you know, you're always changing, you're always exploring, you're learning, and you're doing new things. So you let go of the things that don't work, let go of the programs that don't work, you let go of the brands that don't sell for you, and you move forward. So that's not too bad. So, back on. So I think at one point there was like 211 people watching, which was not bad for a Thursday afternoon. The Hackathon happened on Friday afternoon. It didn't get nearly as many viewers. I don't know why, but so they talked about features that will bring buyers in and that helps sellers. They looked back on last year and talked about Smart List AI, which nobody cheered for. They talked about Smart Sell, and this is the interesting data that I thought was interesting. With Smart Sell, only 25% of users are using it, which is a very low number. And of those 25%, 5% are seeing an increase in sales. I believe that's what he said, which is not a big number. So I don't know why he was bringing that out. But a new feature with Smart Sell. So Smart Sell is where you can you put in your lowest number and they do negotiation for you. They did talk about eventually bringing out offers to likers, like an automatic offers to likers, where if somebody likes your item, Poshmark will send out an offer to them, something that you set up for yourself. So that's I'm looking forward to that. That's not a bad thing. They talked about, and this is where your Smart Sell has to be on. They talked about that as well. But they talked about right now, the lowest that someone can offer you is a 20% of your list price. So if you have something listed for $100, they can offer you 20. That's what they're talking about. They are looking at upping that to 40%. So therefore, if you have something listed for $100, nobody can offer less than 40. So it's an improvement for sure. It might help some of those really, really low offers, but Smart Sell has to be on. So I don't know what that will entail, and it's a good thing, but yeah, we'll see what happens. They talked about improving the price suggestions. Now they're going to have two different prices. One is the best price it's sold for, and one is a lower deal or a lower price that may make it sell faster. And he said something about it would be somewhere with a hot deal on it, and that would get it more visibility. He's like, that's what I think he said. It was a little hard to understand him. And because the sound was a little bit wonky. So that's not a bad thing, because the more eyes you get on your listings, the better it is for you, right? Then they started talking about the search and images and Posh Lens, but you have to have an iPhone. I'm an Android girly. I am not an iPhone person. I do not have an iPhone. I do not want an iPhone. But they talked about getting Posh Lens and image-based search ready to work. I was like, okay, what is this for? You take a picture and then it brings up listings. So basically they're talking about improving Posh Lens. That's, I think, what the gist of it is, but only on iPhones. Whatever. They talked about, I don't know. They talked about visual discovery in order to get descriptive words. So you take a picture, or you show in wherever it is, you put the picture in there, and that picture will generate descriptive words for you to use in your listings and your titles. They talked about innovating the feed. They're trying to make it better and better and more user friendly. Then they talked about search innovation, which, you know what, they really need to fix the search. It's really clunky and I don't like it. One thing they said, which was like not earth-shattering, is like, yeah, that's the way it's always been, is the most active sellers get better search visibility. The more I share, the more my items get seen. The more active I am, the more I'm on the app, the algorithm likes that. So we all know this. They talked about Posh shows and bundling. So now when you have a Posh show and somebody buys multiple items from that show, it's automatically bundled. They've been doing that for a while now. That's fantastic. Now they're talking about you can bundle from multiple shows, in the sense, from what I understood, is if I decide I'm going to do a live show Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and somebody buys something from me on Monday's show, and then on Tuesday's show, and then on Wednesday's show, they will be bundled together, so they only pay one shipping. Which, that's not a bad thing if you do shows. I think the only thing with that would kind of make me think twice about using it is if you have a show Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and somebody buys 5 items, and then they buy 5 more, and then they buy 5 more, it would be cheaper for them just to pay a regular shipping fee, but you get stuck with buying a heavier weight label, because these things are now 15 items in one package. So you have to be careful with that, because as far as I know, the heavier weight labels have stayed the same on Posh US, and they're expensive. So you might want to not use that and let them bundle 7 and 7, so it's under 5 pounds, and they can pay the shipping for it. But that's, of course, when it comes out, we'll figure it out and see what happens with it. Your seller tools, instead of having to scroll down through everything, will now be with the wrench, the right top right of your closet with your wrench, your seller tools, so your closet insights and all that will be there. Be easier for you to find. That's a good one. I like that. They're now also talking about in your closet header. So if you go to your closet and it says, whatever, and you have your picture there, it's also going to have your shipping time and something else. There was your shipping time and your last day active, I think. But definitely shipping time is going to be up there so that when somebody visits your closet, they can see that you're a fast shipper. That's not a bad thing. I think that's a really good thing. Something I do look for when I do shop. I look to see when they were last active and how long it takes them to ship, because it matters to me. So that's not a bad thing. Listing photos. You will no longer, eventually, this doesn't happen yet, but eventually there's not going to be any square mode. You can take it with the entire camera and everything will show. So it is what it is. So he said something about being able to get everything into one photo, and I'm like, well, the square mode does that for me anyway, so I don't know. But this is just another step you don't have to worry about. You can just take a picture and not worry about it. Cover shots. They're going to have some sort of background remover for your cover shot only. So having that in-app is really good. I think that's a really good feature. eBay has it, and we like it, so it's nice to do that. They are transforming the look of the app. It's going to have a new, refreshed look. It's going to be easier to use, and it's going to have streamlined navigation. I will believe it when I see it, so I'm interested, because every time something changes, it still freaks us out. And it's like, I don't like it. So we'll have to figure that one out. That's about it. They're hoping to bring in new buyers and keep the sellers that they have. Honestly, I was underwhelmed. I usually am, though. I don't know what I'm expecting from Poshfest. Some of the new features are going to be fine. They're going to be great, but there's nothing to write home about. There's nothing to cheer and go woohoo for me and my business, but that's me. There may be something that you're looking forward to that you think is fantastic and wonderful, and that's great. I think that's great. So, would I ever go to Poshfest? It would depend, because it's expensive. It costs money to go. I figure if I was going to go to San Jose, that's at least a $700 airplane flight cost, plus your hotel, which probably would have run in around the $500 for the 2 nights or the 3 nights. A rental car if you needed that. Your incidentals. The price of the Poshfest ticket, I think, was like $250, something like that, and that's US. So you have to remember I'm Canadian, and that means it's more for me. But with that ticket, you do get a swag bag, you do get breakfast and lunch both days, things like that. You get some stuff. From what I saw, the swag bag was not that great this year. Last year's was so much better. Last year they got Rothy's and they got a little Coach thing, and this year they didn't get very much, I don't think. I didn't see anything exciting in there. Would I go? Not if it's going to cost me $2,000 or $3,000 to go, or $2,000. We'll say $2,000 to go for 2 days. I don't know. It's just, for me, it's not worth it at this moment in time. If it was closer, like if they had something in Toronto or in Detroit, even, because I'm only 45 minutes car ride to Detroit, I would definitely consider going, because then I don't have to worry about the flight, right? I could just drive there, or with Toronto, I could take the train in, whatever. I would definitely think about it, because I would like to mingle, and I would like to sort of network and see people, and, have that, see what it feels like, and see if I can learn some stuff too. It'd be really great for the channel if I went, but right now, $2,000 to do that just isn't worth it to me. But that's for me, okay? All in all, if it was in my backyard, I would go. because I want the experience. I would like the experience. I think it would be good enough for that. If I have to put a lot of effort into making it there, like even if it was in Vancouver, which I know it's never going to happen. They're never going to do a Poshfest in Canada. I get it. That's fine. That would be expensive too, because it's quite a distance for me. I don't know. What do you guys think? Would you go? I think it might be fun. I know there's a couple of people that I would love to meet in person, for sure, but other than that, you know, I'll sit at home and I'll, you know, watch the two things I watch and be in my pajamas and I'd be happy, you know. Anyway, that is it for today. I hope everybody has a fantastic weekend. And if you got anything, if you did watch the two videos, if you got anything out of it that I missed or I misspoke, please let me know in the comments. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Bye.